The Air Gear manga was created in 2003 and the anime in 2006. Both are finished. The manga contains 36 volumes and the anime contains 26 episodes. Air Gear is based in a modern-day world where gangs of storm riders compete with each other over territory and AT parts. Air treks are basically motorized rollerblades, but in the hands of experts, they can pull off insane tricks, ride up walls, grind on rails, or even ride the air. This story centers around Iki, who unknowingly lives with a group of storm riders known as Sleeping Forest. They aren't his real family, but he's been living with them since he was young. One day he stumbles upon their air treks and he goes out for a ride. Iki has always been obsessed with heights and high jumps, so as soon as he put the ATs on, he felt like he was in his true element. While Iki was out riding, he gets caught up with a gang of storm riders and he accidentally challenges them to a race. And that pretty much kickstarts the story. Through time, Iki will take on new opponents which he has no chance of winning against, but because of his perseverance, he will actually come out on top and they will join him. Together with his friends and his new allies, they form Kogura Samaru. To me, when I first started watching Air Gear, I wasn't looking for a racing anime, but after a few episodes went by, I was really into this series because this really reminded me of one of my favorite video games, Jet Grind Radio. I really enjoyed the theme of this series. It seemed very original because I haven't seen any other anime like this. But halfway through this series, I started to get disappointed with it because it changed from the AT battles and the races that I had grown to love with the series into becoming a battle series. The fights here were very original compared to the fights in many other anime series, but I just didn't feel like they were great enough to push their way into the series and push out the AT races. Now you might ask, if the main aspect of the series is centered around motorized rollerblades, how does it become a battle series? Halfway through this series they explain an ability called a road. Only really skilled riders can have a road. All the roads do different things, but most of them only really help with combat. This would be very interesting if they applied it to the races, however, they mainly apply this to combat, and certain roads contain the abilities to carve up your enemy, to manipulate time, or to just create this really terrible smell. Also within this series, there are special types of AT known as Regalia, which are owned by Sky Kings, which are the strongest of Storm Riders. Within this series, we only see 2 types of Regalia, and I'm very interested to see what other types of Regalia there are in the manga. Within this series, you see the Fang Regalia, which the blades transform into blades to cut with instead of ride with, and also the Rumble Regalia, which manipulates the flow of air. I found the fights here moderately enjoyable, but I just wish that this was one of those anime series that splits from the manga halfway through and becomes something else. I wish that they would have left out the fights altogether and just kept to the jumps and to the races and the tricks and everything. Now, I understand that when dealing with street gangs and territory wars, that violence is unavoidable, but I don't really think that this level of combat was necessary. My only other complaint about this series is that it's one of those series that stops and makes you want to read the manga. This does actually give you a bit of closure at the end of it, so you can watch this as a standalone series, not necessarily with the manga unless you really want to read it, but I felt as someone who really did get into the story of this series and really did enjoy the series that I wanted to read the manga. Overall, I just felt that I had plenty of unanswered questions, plenty of curiosity about what's next in this series, that I want to read the manga, but I just wanted there to be more in the anime. Aside from this series changing to become a battle series and just ending too short, there are many other great things within Air Gear. I found this series to be pretty funny, and it also offered a lot of character development as well. The characters within this series are very interesting because you get to see more about their past, and you get to see them change as well, especially in Iki's case, because in the beginning of the series, he is just an average teenager, but near the end of the series, he is a badass, gritty gang leader. Some other interesting characters within the series were Iki's friends, such as Onigiri, who is a short, chubby guy who actually rides his AT with it on his head upside down. There's Bucha, who just appears to be too big and too heavy to even ride ATs, but he manages to go really fast and pull off these really crazy tricks despite his weight and size. There's Akito and Agito, which are 2 personalities of the same person. Akito is a beast on the ATs, and he loves to carve up his opponents. He is a true psychopath. And his other personality, Agito, who can't ride ATs at all, and he's blatantly gay for Iki. Despite this series' shortcomings, I really did enjoy this, and this series even had me sitting back and thinking about how great an Air Gear video game would be. I actually have a great idea for a Air Gear video game. I'm going to make a video about that later on, though. This series is a bit mature. It features a lot of fan service and a small amount of nudity as well. I watched Air Gear on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, then I definitely recommend you to watch this series. If you also saw Air Gear, then let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below, and if you've read the manga to Air Gear, then definitely let me know what you thought about that, because I'm really interested in seeing what people think about the manga and how it compares to the anime. Anyways, that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.